split wide, metal beast rain down. Feet like thunder shaking this town. Rolling hills don't hide round here. Mountain folks fight sharp and clear. Iron giants thought we were weak. We rise strong with the fire they seek. From the mines to the fields we take our stand. Steel meets mountain blood by hand. Hollers quiet till the rifles sing. Blades and grit like an old rusted spring. Robots shining but they crumble fast. Machines ain't got roots that last. Iron giants thought we were weak. We rise strong with the fire they seek. From the mines to the fields we take our stand. Steel meets mountain blood by hand. Twanging lead, howling through the wind. Fiddles cry, metal hearts can't bend. Scrap and sparks rain across the ground. We send the giants back down. Iron giants thought we were weak. We rise strong with the fire they seek. From the mines to the fields we take our stand. Steel meets mountain blood by hand.
Greetings and salutations, my friends. Welcome to another glorious day here at the Tango Hotel. Hey, look, what do we got here? It's Dominion Wars, that's right. What's up, boys? How you doing? Longwood, greetings and salutations, my friend. How are you, good sir? Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. So, yes, I did indeed see your post. I just wanted to let you know. And I love this part. This part is the best. This part is the best. We're just gonna make it big just because I like to. No base building, no resource gathering, just pure strategy and glorious combat. The fucking taglines in our old media is just absolutely ridiculous, is it not? Is it not? So, my dudes, my bros, my homies, to celebrate this most illustrious occasion, that's right, because you're here. Let us join together in the most amazing thing in human civilization has ever invented. It's called the simultaneous sip. And all you got to do is grab that cup or mug or glass. Perhaps you have a tankard, chalice, or a stein. Maybe a canteen, jug, or flask. A vessel of any. With your favorite fluid. I like. That's right. It's the morning coffee. It's delicious. It's magnificent. Tango made. So join me now, friends, for the gloriousness, the stupendosity, nay, awesome sauceness that is simultaneous sip. Tap it in right. Freaking now. Go! I gotta stop chugging the fucking coffee. It's too hot. It's too hot. I get into the whole fucking simultaneous sip thing, and I lose track of where I am, and I just fucking roll with it, and I end up burning the shit out of my mouth every fucking. That country was awesome. I will have that once I'm up for good. Yeah. That was, the funny thing is how did that game not sell more? Honestly, probably because it's Star Trek. That's probably why. What year did it come out? That's probably why. Is a lot of people don't know. Like, if you're not involved in Star Trek, you see Star Trek and you don't associate this. Oh wait, you can't see it. Hang on, flip it back over here. You don't associate this pure strategy and glorious combat with this right here. You just don't do that, right? Because before DS9 did the Dominion War, there was no real Star Trek combat, right? Not in the actual series. So even if you go back and you watch DVD size box era, so post 2005ish, yeah. So before DS9, the only combat was here or there, and it was incidental, and it was just pew pew, shields rock. Oh, shields down to 40%, Captain. Oh god. And then we'd save the day, and that'd be it, right? There was no combat. Didn't have any other mechanism other than plot, for the most part, with the exception of a very few episodes, like the one where Geordi ends up taking over because the captain and everybody is. It's the first time Geordi becomes like a big figurehead on the show. When he has to take command of the Enterprise, when the captain and Commander Riker are down on a planet, and he has to do a saucer separation, and they do all kinds of. He basically uses the atmosphere to see an invisible enemy. It's a very cool show, and it does show combat, but it's still way more cerebral and strategic than just lasers, pew 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 pew. I was incorrect. It's 2001 when it was released. Well, I can tell you exactly why I didn't play this fucking game, because I was playing EverQuest. That's why I didn't play this game. Oh, you want to play EverQuest, or you can't play any more games? Deal. Until Wolf 359. Nah, I don't even count Wolf 359 because, again, that serves the plot, and there was no real combat. It was a bunch of ships fly directly at a Borg cube, and Borg cube goes pew, dead, pew, dead, pew, dead, pew, dead, pew. That's not combat, right? That's not, when I talk about combat as far as like entertainment, I'm talking about combat that they did in DS9, right? Where it was very involved. You kind of understood what was going on, especially in a lot of the episodes that actually dealt with the Dominion War, and the combat was part of the intrigue of the episode. One of the best ones was the one where it was like a submarine episode where they were in DS9, where they were on the Defiant. I believe they were in the Gamma Quadrant. I'm not sure about this. It might have been in the Alpha Quadrant. It probably was in the Alpha Quadrant if it was during the Dominion War. It doesn't matter. I don't remember where the fuck it was, but they were inside. They were using a gas giant as and the ship as a submarine analog, and it was a really, really good episode where the combat was tactical, strategic, and cerebral, but it was very visceral. Like the positions of the ships actually mattered, where the weapons fire hit actually mattered, which parts of the ships that you're trying to disable actually matters, because a lot of times it's like, oh, target their engines, and it does, and instantly their engines don't work, right? And that's all you really get out of it. There's no video game-esque kind of thing like it's on here, right? Or even when you look at stuff like, and this is what I'm not talking about in the actual episode. Now, obviously, the video games have basically been pew 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 lasers since the very beginning. Let's just be real. I think the very first fucking Star Trek game was a DOS game where you literally just move a picture of a Klingon ship around the map, and you just shoot little pixels at things. I'm pretty sure. If they were cloaking in the gamma per the treaty with the Romulans. Yeah, I just don't remember. Which I always thought the Treaty of Alderaan was the dumbest fucking thing ever. Oh. I can't debate Star Trek politics right now. I just can't fucking do it. I just can't because we'll be here forever. But yes, so even if you go back and watch a lot of the episodes that have a lot of combat, especially during the Dominion War, like when it hits its like high peak of, oh my god, we're at a war, look at this fucking casualty list of like 10 million people. Even then, a lot of the episodes in DS9 weren't about the war and combat, because that's not what Star Trek's about. And I'm cool with that. But it could be. It really, really could be. They tried really hard in Star Trek First Contact to make Star Trek action-y. And I think it worked really well. For the time, to be fair. Star Trek First Contact is probably one of the best Star Trek movies. Search for Spock and was it Undiscovered Country are definitely for me. It's like those three are just like, ooh, it's so hard because I grew up with Next Gen, right? That's obviously my bias. So, but because they actually did a good transition, I did not expect to start talking about Star Trek like this at the beginning of the stream. By the way, did you know Frank's directed? Yes, and I do believe that is one of the reasons why it was able to do what it did. Did he direct? Did he direct? One with Shenzhen? Fuck, what was it called? I can't ever remember the name because I do not like it. It was the one after First Contact. Wrath of Khan. Did they add submarine noises? And oh, excuse me. It wasn't 3. It was 2. It was 2, 6, and First Contact. Not 3. Search for Spock was a great movie, very cerebral, but it was like Star Trek the Motion Picture. I meant Wrath of Khan. Excuse me, apologize. I apologize profusely to everyone. I know you're horribly disappointed that I forgot about that specific one. It's okay. I'll take it. Was it Nemesis? No, Insurrection came directly after First Contact, and then Nemesis was after Insurrection. Shut the fuck up, dude. All right. Just because I turned you on doesn't mean you get to insult me. Anyway. But yes, they did add. It's one of the reasons why in most Star Trek you hear the sonar ping, the wom wom wom, or it's a big ding. I'm not gonna make the sound because I fucking can't make it. But it's one of the reasons why playing Star Trek Resurgence felt like Star Trek is because you hear the warble in the background, the ding boing. It reminds us of submarine combat, right? Or submarine movies and stuff like that. And it doesn't have to make that noise, but it does. And yes, they did add submarine noises in Wrath of Khan, and Wrath of Khan is probably the best example of what I'm talking about that's in Star Trek up until DS9, where a lot of people would consider it one of the best Star Trek movies ever, and it shows visceral one-on-one space combat. But it is like the one time that happens where it's actually a true plot point where the actual strategy you're using and how you're outthinking your enemy in combat is going. Like, it actually, like, the end of the movie really does look like a lot of the movies that they would do in naval combat or submarine combat in like the 50s and 60s. It was tri-D chess. Yes, in fact, it was 3D chess because Khan, being a genius, still did not have experience with space combat. And in space, there are 3 dimensions. And I will say that is a very... I want to say it's very dumb to think that Khan, a genetically engineered genius, wouldn't think about space in 3 dimensions. However, if he had time to think, that might be true. But we had twofold. We've got his ego, and he's been insulted. So all of these things, so those 2 things together mean he's not thinking. He's doing the barbarian thing and just lashing out. And this is how Kirk is able to outmaneuver him, is because he's not thinking about space combat the way he should, analytically. He's thinking about it emotionally. And so he's reacting emotionally. And that is a lot. And nobody else is thinking either because, they're all fucking scared of him. He tasks me. Yes. It's so good, dude. And this is what I'm saying. It's like, yes, it's stupid that Khan doesn't think about it in 3D, but they did such a good job of explaining why. Because he hates Kirk so much. What is the final line? Something about my heart and I spit at thee. Oh, it was so good. And then he activates the Genesis device. Like, you want to talk about premium fucking cinema. So good. There's a reason it's considered the best Star Trek movie ever made. And, you know, like I said, I'm biased on Next Generation, which is why I put, you know, First Contact in the contender ring with that. And I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of it. Because they do a similar thing in First Contact, in that they use emotional thinking to cloud the enemy's judgment. The Borg Queen. I hate the Borg Queen. I just want to point this out. I despise the Borg Queen, but it's there. It's a mechanic. We're just going to roll with it. From hella heart, I stab at thee. For hate's sake, I spit my last breath at thee. And no, I didn't look it up. Oh, that is great. Yes, that is good. But again, yes. TOS is not my thing, but it is a good thing. It is a very good thing. And the funny thing is the reason I actually started watching the original series. Every time it would come on, I was like, I don't want to watch this. It looks horrible. And it was because they were using more primitive equipment, more primitive acting techniques, stage techniques, all the stuff. So it looks clunky and boxy compared to like TNG and other stuff I was watching on TV. And as a young kid, I didn't understand. And then I watched Star Trek 2. I'd seen the motion picture and I was just like, this is boring as fuck. What the fuck is going on? Then I saw Star Trek 2. And it was when the walls fell. I know, dude. TNG when Stewart was cast. True. And as much as Patrick Stewart is a fucking douchebag, he was at least an incredible actor. And he really made Picard. Like I have a feeling that Star Trek Next Generation wouldn't be nearly as popular if it wasn't for the fact that they had someone like Patrick Stewart, right? With actual truly amazing acting bona fides who could really sell the bullshit that they were selling, right? How many times did the writers fail Patrick Stewart in their writing? And how many times did Patrick Stewart drag those motherfuckers across the line to greatness? How many times? That fucking one episode where they're stuck on the holodeck and he has to talk to those insectoids and he has to do this really weird speech at the end. He actually does it with gravitas, and it is some of the dumbest shit I've ever seen. It was so good, and I'm doing the fucking... My wife is wearing off on me, dude. The Italian thing. Older, wiser, with experience as a character and an actor. Yes, and that really did set it off as the Next Generation. You had Kirk, who's young, has way more of a free spirit. He shoots from the hip and all this stuff. And you have Picard, who's much older, and he does not shoot from the hip hardly at all. And when he does, it's like this magnificent thing. Just like when Kirk actually like sits back in a few episodes, and he actually, you know, is like super diplomatic and all this other stuff. You're like, what the fuck happened? He's like, well, needs change. It's just like, he's almost the exact opposite of Kirk in most of those ways. And they really do a good job of juxtaposing the civilizations at the time, right? Because during Picard's tenure of the Enterprise, the Federation was going through the Golden Age. So it was more like the United States of America, right? Where in the original series, the United States is more like in the Wild West, where we're pushing off into manifest destiny. We don't need to talk about the Indians. We don't need to talk about that. And so it's more like that. It's a wagon train to the stars. So they literally set it out like everything is like free balling, right? Like kind of like captains of ships that were part of what was it? English tradition, where you know you were master and commander of your vessel, and you were a diplomatic representative of the crown, and so you had certain powers that other people in the military wouldn't necessarily, simply due to that fact. And so they continued that process. And in Star Trek: The Next Generation, the Federation is much more developed. It's less like the Wild West and more like I want to say like the 1950s and 60s, where the United States of America is very secure. And so the military is not going off on adventures, doing all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of territory to patrol and a lot of stuff that we still don't understand in the areas that we claim as our space. And this is why Captain Picard bitches continuously in the series about how they're not like actually going on their 5-year mission. The episode Kirk was split was incredible. Then TNG would be a post-revolutionary period up to their version of the 60s and 70s. No. I think you misunderstand. I'm taking like bird's eye view, broad implications, right? Because by the time the 60s roll around, the entirety of the United States is federated, right? None of the land needs to be explored anymore. There's no fucking farmers who are looking to settle the West, making their own treaties with the Indians, and fucking the United States government coming in and fucking it all up. No, they already fucked it all up, and we've already claimed all the territory. And now the military is just kind of like not really a presence. This is one of the reasons why Patrick Stewart continuously saying, or excuse me, Captain Picard continuously saying that Starfleet is not a military organization is like, I want to keep saying it's aspirational, but the fact that people keep disagreeing with me simply because Picard said it makes me want to fucking slap a motherfucker. Welcome to the Maquis. Yeah. And do you remember in Voyager when they did the time travel episode and they actually found the fucking Alex Jones conspiracy theorist dudes? They shot down a motherfucking Starfleet shuttlecraft. Can you fucking believe that? Oh, wait, no. Excuse me. The United States military shot down a shuttlecraft, and a bunch of conspiracy theorist motherfuckers found them. That's what it was. Yeah, straight up. But the point is that because the area of space in and around the Federation was far more regulated, it had law and order and stuff like that. So the supply lines weren't like, you remember in Kirk's original mission was a 5-year mission. Right, so they were gone from the Federation for years on these missions at that time. And that's what the Enterprise was supposed to do. That's why it had families and all this other shit. It was supposed to be a long-term thing, and they didn't really get to do that. But the point is the reason they didn't is because the Federation was such a gigantic fucking entity that they needed all hands to help. And they still did a little bit of stuff. If you've ever read any of the Titan books, they go back to the exploring thing, and it's really, really good. It's really fucking good. The books for Titan with William Riker as captain are amazing. My only problem is that I'm gonna spoil it. So if you haven't heard this and you want to know about it, close your ears. I'm gonna hold my hand up while I talk about this. So they made that motherfucker an admiral and took him off his ship way too quickly for some dumbass plot reason, which was really awesome. I call it dumbass because I don't like it. That doesn't mean it isn't good. And the story and intrigue are amazing, but I'm so fucking mad that Captain Riker is no longer Captain Riker. That he's fucking Admiral Riker. It makes me so fucking angry. It's classified as an exploration cruiser by STO. Also, I know a chief artist for them. Oh, nice. By Star Trek Online? Yeah, but Star Trek Online isn't really canon. It's like an ancillary kind of thing, right? They can't really do canon in that kind of world where you have ensigns captaining ships, right? It's just a bit odd. I understand why they do it. It's for game mechanics, but they literally, like, the thing that bothers me the most about the STO ranks, the fact that they make ensigns captains, is you literally could just make everybody a captain and just give them different ranks of captaining. Right? You could delineate the ranks that they had to do that because because the thing about it is that during World War II, lieutenant commanders and commanders commanded submarines because we didn't have enough officers and it wasn't an actual like gigantic fucking naval ship. So you didn't need a captain, right? And even though a lieutenant commander or a commander could captain a submarine, they were still referred to as captain. So there is historical precedent for such a thing, but you would never promote a fucking ensign. And in Star Trek, they should have at least just promoted you to captain. Field commission, you're now a captain. You did a good job. Now, go on. Captain. Also, anyone captaining a ship always gets the title of captain on board. Yes, that is correct. If you are the shipmaster, you are the captain of the ship. That is what it is. So it doesn't matter what your rank actually is. Because this is, like I said, there's historical precedent. You have lieutenant commanders and commanders specifically in in the United States Navy, during World War II, you had lieutenant commanders and commanders captaining submarines because they were smaller ancillary vessels. And there are other places where this happens. But you don't really see this in Star Trek, right? And so you could say that that's what they're doing, and that would be fine if they were doing that. But again, they started ensign rather than like lieutenant commander, right? That's the big thing. And then on top of that, they could just promote everybody to captain and then just give you different ranks of captain. I know it doesn't, it sounds, it's more gamified, it sounds like, but it still fits more true to lore. It's kind of what I'm getting at. It always felt really, it always takes me out when I'm playing the game at the very beginning and I'm a fucking ensign captaining a fucking ship of like 300 people. And so that basically means that because like, unless you're dealing with something like line officer shit, like there are two different kinds of officers in the United States Navy. There are line officers and then there are non-line officers. And line officers are the ones that can command ships. Non-line officers cannot command ships. For instance, if I'm not mistaken, aircraft carriers have multiple captains on board, captain rank individuals. This would be like a colonel in the United States Army. And so you have a captain of the ship, or actually, usually don't admirals fucking captain aircraft carriers? I can't remember. Anyway, the point I'm trying to get at is that the person in charge of the nuclear fucking power plant on most aircraft carriers, from what I understand, is a captain rank individual, an engineer, but most of them are not line officers. They cannot command the ship. So someone who is lower ranked than them could take command of the ship, and they would be subordinate to them being the commander of the ship. The captain. There's an STO novel as well, yes. And I'm probably explaining it fucking horribly, but It like I said, STO always took me out for that, but it's technically canon, which is because it's set in the far future. And how much of the canon in Star Trek Picard contradicts it? Just saying. This is the problem we get into with all of this stuff. But it is what it is. I do want to play this game. I absolutely do want to play this game. Now that I've gone on like a 20-minute tirade. I saw this and I know I've seen this before. And I don't remember exactly why I didn't pick it up. I don't remember. I may have actually seen some gameplay too. It's probably because if it came out in 2001, in 2001, I was a sophomore/junior in high school, and I was playing WoW and getting laid. Or not playing WoW, playing EverQuest and getting laid. Those were my two main fucking problems that I had in my life at that time. Now that would be a fun exercise. We will get you set up with it. All right, fair enough. Will it run on modern systems? Minimum system requirements: Windows 95, 98, ME, 2000. Pentium 2, 266 megahertz processor, 64 megs of RAM. We ballin', ain't we, boys? Fucking ballin'. Jesus Christ. 150 megabytes of hard drive space. My God, sir. 600 megabytes for full install. I think I'm dying. This makes me feel so fucking old, man. 8 megabytes of direct 3D. Oh my God. Oh God. A direct 3D compatible fucking graphics card. A direct 3D compatible sound card. Do you remember when you actually used to have to buy sound cards for basic sound? Do you remember that? How fucking shitty that was? I was playing games and not getting laid at the same high school rank. Fair enough. If I can't get it to run on modern, I will go old school and get a system going. Fair enough. I imagine you could probably emulate a lot of this bullshit that it requires. I know that there are ways you can trick the game into believing this. It's just whether to run or not. Can you buy this anywhere? What is it called? Dominion Wars? Even with a virtual machine, eBay? No, like digital. Can you buy a digital copy of this anywhere? I'm assuming it's not on Steam. Does GOG have it? Let's see. Laughs in binary. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Let's see if GOG has it. Dominion. No. I can't spell Dominion, so there's that. Wars. It's Dominion. That would be a no. So there are ones with Dominion in their name. Maybe we have to do something like this. Nope. I mean, it would be fun. It would be fun. Look at that, dude. $4.99 for one of the best games ever made. I really should go back and finish my playthrough of this. I really should. We might do that. We might do that. All right, so now here's an interesting question. You've played this, right? So is it, you said it's like Starship Commander, but you have multiple ships, is that correct? Board and conquer enemy ships. That sounds fun. I love how they have to say it like that. From sensors to power to weapons. It's like it's a squadron level game. Ah, I see. Okay. I think a lot of people don't understand how machines work who make shit like this. It's like, if you, how the fuck do I need to word this? It's probably because of the TV shows that lines like this come out. All power to weapons, all power to shields. Like, based on Starfleet Command, which is based on the tabletop Starfleet battles. Nice. I did not know there was tabletop Starfleet battles. Dude, I didn't even know that wargaming existed until I was fully an adult. And I'm probably glad, because that way I got to play EverQuest. Just saying. I'm just saying. Hell, I'm probably sure I didn't even know what Warhammer actually was until I was like 20. Thank you, Space Marine. I appreciate that. But it was just like when I was reading reviews for the virtual reality game, Starfleet Bridge or whatever it is that they did for the Oculus, where you get to, be in a 3D environment and control stations on board on a bridge of a starship. And it's just like, I understand that they're trying to make it simple for everybody, but the problem is that if you make it so simple so that everybody can do it without too much fuss, then it's just gonna sound retarded. Like this fucking line. Power to weapons. Huh. Do we want all power to weapons, or do we want not all power to weapons? Let me think about that for a second. Done thinking. Sorry. It's just one of those things where it's like, I understand because of the TV show does it, and it's funny that way, and you do have to balance the power grid when it comes to like Starfleet ships because of how EPS conduits and shit work. Yes, it's a bunch of technical fucking jargon that doesn't exist, and yes, I know way too much about it, but that's not the point. The point is that when I look at something like this, what this tells me is that I'm gonna have a power bar, and I'm gonna get to divide all of my systems up into their power, and that's gonna be like that's gonna be the control of my ship. That's what it's gonna be. Supposedly, it's like we don't show off our full military power until we have to. They're the same with power levels. Yeah, no, I just because that's basically what it is. It's a game mechanic where there's like you have a full power bar that represents your entire ship's power, and you can put that power wherever you want. Is that really control though? Is that really what I'm talking about when I'm talking about weapons? You know what I'm saying? It's like, because think about how, if you were standing at a tactical console on board the Defiant, What would you be able to do? Well, a power sliding bar might be one control on your entire smorgasbord of bullshit that you can do, right? And even if you simplify it, it basically comes down to you can either you can help the computer prioritize targets, you can help target the computer, or you can manually target and fire weapons yourself. You can do all kinds of things with the computer's ability on how to fire, where not just which target to hit, but where on that target to hit. And how you want the fire to go, the frequency of the fire, how powerful you want your weapons. You know, what are you actually trying to do? These are all kinds of things that you can do that are basically like, Star Trek has so much sci-fi nuance that you could literally do a lot of things with a singular weapon console, right? I bet you could fucking make a game that is literally you being a tactical officer aboard a starship and just have the game be you controlling the weapons of your ship as you go through various scenarios. I'm 100% sure that could be a game. If you make the simulation deep enough, it could be a good game. The RPG book for TNG had a whole section on technobabble. Oh my God. And the reason I bring all this up is because it's always dumbed down to power bar mechanics, unfortunately, right? Where it's like, I could understand people not wanting to simulate being an operations officer because that would be boring as fuck, most likely. And to being a tactical officer is boring as fuck all the time until you get into combat, right? Because you're basically dealing with basic communications and you're running simulations and you're basically doing what I did on a submarine, which is basically just doing fucking maintenance and standing watch. That's what you're doing. 99% of your time in the military, in the Navy, and in Starfleet is going to be standing watch, doing maintenance. Those are going to be their primary jobs, no matter what you're doing. But to get back to the simulation part, you could easily have the simulation go fairly deep where you can actually control the ship enough to make it something interesting. You could probably even do it with the helm console as well, right, where you're steering the ship. You could probably do that. And I wonder if it could be possible to do a full-on tactical simulator with multiple stations, right? I wonder if that would be possible. Because the Star Trek virtual reality simulator definitely hints that it could be, but it's so simple, it's basically like, oh, click on the thing, target, fire, pew, and then you're done, right? Whereas a true simulation would be a lot more in-depth, and you would absolutely want to make sure there are levels to the depthness. So if you want to go full Star Trek nerd, there should be a mode for that, right? And if you want to just be, if you're just tangentially interested in Star Trek, I think this might be cool. Then there definitely should be an easier mode where it's not literally an LCARS display, and I'm having to like find the fire button, and I gotta find the targeting button, and then I gotta find the manual target, and then I gotta do the computer reroute thing. You know, all the actual buttons that actually exist there. I would actually like to have a simulation of that. But obviously, if you're going to make a viable game that is going to be, you know, put out to the general public, you don't want that to be the interface that the general public walks up to and be like, all right, here you go, control the ship. And it's just like, right? It's a monkey fucking a football. It's exactly what it is. So I think it could be viable, but I don't think anybody has I don't know if anybody actually has the ability to do it. I sure the fuck don't. Because I don't have the ability to make a game. That's basically what that boils down to. Funnily enough, at least for the tactical console of the Enterprise, I could probably operate it. I think maybe it would take me a bit. I'm pretty sure, but the reason is because I've studied it in all the things. It actually does have specifically set buttons. They actually are. And if you want to know why Riker can put his butt on the tactical console and not go off, it's because the computer is specifically designed to detect fingers and not buttholes. So when Riker butthole punches like the fire button, it doesn't go off, right? So you know, it always has the it's got this field around it that like contours Riker's butt, you know, because you can't have Riker's butt tainted by the tactical console. We just can't. All right, so anyway. Now that we've had enough fun with Star Trek, let's talk about something else that's fun. Or more potentially, that's not fun. Activision, official player conduct notice, effective immediately. Teabagging or diddying is a bannable offense. In our continued effort to foster a respectful and inclusive gaming environment, we are updating our player conduct policy. The following actions are now considered unsportsmanlike behavior. Oh, so you couldn't say respectful and sportsmanlike environment? Oh, no. It has to. You have to fucking use this god-awful fucking word. The following actions, because you're not being inclusive, because you're literally banning these people. So you're excluding people who like teabagging and diddying, right? That's what you're doing. So you want to be respectful and inclusive, but you're not being inclusive, right? Because inclusive means you're trying to broaden as much as possible. So you can't make regulations around allowing the teabagging culture to exist. Is the teabagging culture inferior to your culture? Is that what you're saying? Are you a fucking racist? Anyway. Teabagging, rapid crouching over a downed or eliminated player. Diddying, excessive or taunting movement over eliminations meant to harass or humiliate. That sounds funny, dude. Why these actions? Though often brushed off as just part of the game, they are part of the game. Well, actually, more to the point, they're just guys fucking around with each other, and you should fucking let them fuck around. Contribute to toxic gameplay. It's only toxic if you're a baby back bitch. That's really what it boils down to. If you're not a baby back bitch, then it's not a problem. This is not a guy problem. This is not a girl problem. There are a lot of girls that don't have a problem with this. My wife does not have a problem with this. You don't want to know why? Because she will do exactly this fucking same thing to you. The only person who can't do this to her is me. Right? The only person who can't be this way to her is me. And if you know anything about women, you know exactly why. And diminish the experience for others. So you're diminishing the experience for these people because it diminishes the experience for others. Okay. We're committed to making our community safer. I don't know how this makes you unsafe. That sounds really fucking retarded. And more welcoming for everyone, but it's not welcoming for these people. So the people that, you know, made your game, the people that built your game, as a cultural phenomenon, the people that supported you and did all this stuff, they're no longer welcome. Their culture is no longer welcome because you want to be more inclusive and get all those fucking modern audience assholes, right? Right. What this means for you, repeated violations will be monitored and actioned. Reports of this behavior will be taken seriously. Don't test it. Play with respect. Stay sharp. Stay respectful. Stay in the game. Activision. Oh, there's a community note. Oh, okay. This is false information. Ah, boo. I'm a dumbass. Okay, well. Is that really what it is? Is that really what it is? Let me see. Where do these things go? Why did you... Why are you, what the fuck? What are these? Engagement farm will be suspended. Okay, so they're just posting, because they're posting how it violates TOS. Okay, so let's do this. Let's see if it is real or not. Active, let's see. Teabagging. Has not banned players from teabagging Call of Duty games, including Warzone. A form of taunting where a player repeatedly crouches over defeated opponents is not explicitly prohibited. However, using offensive language or engaging in harassment alongside teabagging can lead to a ban. That's fair. I can understand that. Recent rumors and fake images circulating online claiming that teabagging is a bannable offense have been refuted. Well, there you go. Okay, so I fully retract everything I just fucking said. So Activision is still being a fucking piece of shit, but hey, they're not banning fucking teabagging, so we're good. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this would be very bad. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, yes, this is the main reason I brought all this up is because of this. Why don't want anyone play our games? Now, this is not real, and I am going to fully, unequivocally say that that's fine, right? They didn't do this, so we're not going to talk about that. But I will talk about, but moving on, now that we've got that, it's that the reason that this has become a thing is because a lot of these companies are now no fun zones, right? So were the fucking Xbox game rooms really fucking toxic? Yes, they were. They absolutely were. Way overly toxic. But if you didn't like it, you just muted everybody. You just muted the people who were doing it. And then your game was fine. If you didn't want to engage in that. But most of us did because it was funny. Absolutely funny. Now, what I will say is that if this were something that was done for an official, like an esports thing where there's a tournament and stuff like this, obviously this shit should not be allowed. Because that is unsportsmanlike behavior, which is really triggered me because unsportsmanlike should be up here. Sportsmanship should be the first fucking thing. Because I can be sportsman. I can be a good sportsman and I can hate your fucking guts. I can be a good sportsman and not respect you as a person. You understand that, right? I do not have to be respectful to you, but I can still be a good sportsman in the same regard. These two things are not mutually exclusive for one another. And so it's like, this is the problem I had with the way this was worded, but obviously it doesn't matter anymore because this is fucking fake. But it does feel like a lot of these companies are no fun zones when it comes to this stuff, and why their games are fucking the way they are and the way they make them, where, you know, like WoW changing the fucking paintings of women to fruit and shit, and it's like the DOS protest too much, right? They feel guilty over a lot of stuff that they do, and so they make us suffer for it. So yeah, I'm very disappointed that this was fake. I'm not disappointed that I'm both disappointed and not disappointed because I went on and on about this and apparently it's fucking fake. Yeah, thank God it's really fucking, and the real Activision would have announced it already on their X account due to making major changes to their TOS. Yes. Fake. Fake. Okay, good. All right, well, we've got that, so yay. All right, let's talk about this. This is... Oh, okay. This is lovely. I'm gonna. U.S. officials greet white South Africans to whom the Trump administration has granted refugee status for being deemed victims of racial discrimination in their home country. I often wonder if the like 10D chess memes don't have more truth to them than people say. Because there's a lot of dumb shit that people say, oh, that Trump makes a mistake and it's fucking 10D chess. Yeah. With the tariffs and him like bitching out on a few of them and being, you know, flexible and shit. It's just like, yeah, that's like basically if you understand Trump's behavior, you knew that if the market fucking tanked hard enough, he was going to fucking do what he did. Like there's just no way around that. Something like this. The reason I say the thing that I'm doing is look at what the person says at the top. If you said during the campaign that Trump admin would deport fully vetted, non-violent black, brown refugees while importing whites, a whites-only group of immigrants, you would be called a hysterical race baiter with severe case of TDS. And now... and Dev coming in with the base take. If there's legitimate discrimination against them, there's nothing wrong with taking white refugees. True. Rejecting non-white legitimate refugees is also bad. True. You should be okay with accepting white refugees rather than wanting them to be rejected because they're white. Exactly. See, this is why I think this might actually be some kind of like stupid ass fucking 10D chess move to make the fucking Democrats look bad, because they obviously do not give a single fuck about actual refugees. if this is your stance. And the reason I'm going to say this is because the Episcopal Church has announced it will end ties to a decades-old partnership with the government to resettle refugees, citing moral opposition to resettling white Afrikaners from South Africa who have been classified as refugees by the Trump administration. Let's read, shall we? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. In light of our church's steadfast commitment to racial justice and reconciliation, and our historic ties with the Anglican Church of South Africa, we are unable to take this step. According to... So... Oh, here, oh yeah. Let me. I may have missed something here. So they said that they are ending their 4-decade-old relationship between the federal government and the Episcopal Church, and it's because they were informed, the Episcopal Migration Ministries, that under the terms of the federal grant, we are expected to resettle white Afrikaners from South African government. From South Africa, whom the government has classified as refugees. And in light of our church's steadfast commitment to racial justice and reconciliation, our historic ties with the Anglican Church of South Africa, we are unable to take this step. So for 4 decades, they've worked to resettle refugees. But because we now have white refugees from fucking South Africa who are being murdered because they are white, you can't do it no more. What happened to all that Jesus shit about refugees? What would Jesus do? Right? What happened to all that bullshit that the left has been spouting ever since the fucking, all the atheists fucking on the left have been spouting ever since the fucking mass deportation thing hit. Oh, what would Jesus do? Jesus wouldn't do. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Render unto Caesar, bitches. So, the stated reasons for Trump's actions are claims of victimization, violence, and hateful rhetoric against white people in South Africa, along with legislation providing for the expropriation of land, that's the government seizing it, without compensation. Read the letters of the South African religious leaders who included among its, who gives a fuck, as white South Africans in active leadership with the Christian community representing diverse political and theological. We unanimously reject these claims. There you go. So, why is that? Why is that? Why would you reject the claims? Why would you reject the claims based on steadfast commitment to racial justice and reconciliation? Why would you use that? Why would you use that specifically? Very interesting. That we would use that kind of language, and then that's what you're saying you're using to reject it. Is that you reject that they're being murdered because they're white? Or is that you simply reject the fact that you don't want to help white South Africans because of the history of apartheid and racial injustice in South Africa? And if that's the case, does that mean that you think these whites should be murdered and their land appropriated by the government and taken without compensation? Should they suffer the same shit that was done to black people in South Africa? Is that what this is? Is that why you won't do this? That seems kind of weird, honestly. I don't know. Kind of weird. So they unanimously reject the claims that they are being victimized, that there's been violence against them, since they are being victimized. There is violence, and there is hateful rhetoric against white people in South Africa, along with legislation. Like, all of these things are actually true. Actually true. Yes. Yes, they are. And so they just unanimously reject these claims. So has a long history of advocating against apartheid in South Africa. I love how they keep bringing this up. It's like, so the reason you're doing it is because South Africa had apartheid, and so these people must pay penance, right, for the sins of people before them and the sins of the people in their government. Right? Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing? Yes, and in a statement from the White House, it raises serious questions about its supposed commitment to humanitarian aid. She argued Afrikaners are faced unspeakable horrors and are no less deserving of refugee settlement than the hundreds of thousands of others who were allowed in the United States during the past administration. I agree. I don't mind us allowing refugees who have legitimate concerns to come here and live in the United States. I don't mind that at all. Nope, do not. What I do mind is that people who abuse our asylum system to basically be economic migrants. And yeah, that's what I don't like. Because if you're coming here for any other reason than this, then you are abusing the system. And I want you gone. President Trump's made it clear refugee resettlement should be about need, not politics. Trump administration has all but fully frozen the refugee program. Why? Why do you think that is? Is it because it's been abused? Maybe, perhaps, for decades? With the African ears among the few and possibly only people granted entry as refugees since January, despite thousands from other countries hoping to enter the U.S. to avoid persecution and violence. Shortly after he was sworn in, Trump signed an executive order that essentially halted the refugee program and stopped payments to organizations that assist with refugee resettlement, including, according to one group, payments for work already performed. Okay, now that's not cool, but that's a claim, not a fact. So, the changes left refugees, including Christians fleeing religious persecution, without a clear path forward, and forced 10 refugee settlement groups, 7 of which are faith-based, to lay off scores of workers while still trying to support refugees who have recently arrived. Four of the faith groups, it says, filed 2 separate lawsuits, of which one has recently resulted in a ruling that should have restarted the program. However, the refugee groups have accused the government of delaying compliance with the court order. I would not be surprised with this at all. I would not be surprised with this at all. Nope. Because as much as I do agree that the United States should be open for people to make refugee claims and that we should accept at least some of them, right? That doesn't mean we have to accept all of them. And I don't give a fuck how many fucking people are laid off if you're... Because, like, here's the problem that I have. Is that we know there have been NGOs that go to, like, south of the border and that go to the southern countries, and they fucking put out all this information about how you can come to the United States and fucking basically, essentially, it tells people how to apply for asylum, which is great. But the problem is that they literally tell every fucking body, not just people who might need asylum. And they tell them, they explain to them how to use the asylum system to essentially abuse it. Now, obviously, they don't put it out in that way, but this is the problem you have. It's like, yes, I want people who are in need of refugee status to fucking come here and get asylum if they deserve it. But when you literally put this mass information out to, destitute people all fucking south of the American border, how many of them are just going to come up here and apply for asylum when they know it could be 5 to 10 years down the road before they fucking even get a court case to hear their asylum claim, so they could live in the United States and work in the United States for 5 to 10 years. 2 to 5 is being charitable. So I'm exaggerating with the 5 to 10. I really am. But it bothers me because there's more nuance to this than we are letting on. And it's like, I don't give a fuck if you get laid off and your organization doesn't get any fucking money, if we don't fucking need you. And the only reason you exist is because other NGOs and or your NGO has done things like this that have exacerbated the problem. Because the thing about it is it's a filtering mechanism. The only people who should really know any of this information are the people who actually need it. It shouldn't be fucking put out in goddamn newspapers in like dozens of countries, right? The exact way to do this, and telling people to come and all this other stuff, and just it fucking annoys the shit out of me when people do that, because what you do is legitimate asylum seekers are now being hurt by people who are abusing the system, and to fix the system, we now have to hurt them even more. And they're blaming us because we need to fix the system. They're blaming, oh, we can't, oh, all this bullshit. Oh, fuck you. No, fuck you. No, fuck you. You want refugees. You want to be kind and generous and all this other bullshit. That's fine. But you have to be pragmatic about it. And letting the entire fucking third world enter the United States of America is only going to make the fucking problem worse. It fucking gets on my nerves. Anyway, moving on. But I don't doubt that they're delaying compliance. That doesn't. I mean, we've basically seen it in the other case with Abrigo Garcia, where they are absolutely dragging their fucking feet. And if the courts did order them to do a thing, and it's legit, then they should be doing it. And so that's a criticism to Trump and his admin. They should be fucking following the law just like everybody else. And I hate the fact that so many people have gone full on. The problem is so bad. We need to channel this motherfucker. It bothers me because this is how republics shift into authoritarianism and empire, right? This is how republics fall to this. Because I mean, we saw the results of the polls and from the election of Trump. One of the biggest things besides the economy was immigration, and the asylum fucking catastrophe that we had, and all the bullshit that the fucking blue team has been pushing. And it irritates the shit out of me because so much of their rhetoric actively fucking hurts the people that they're talking about. Actively fucking hurts them because they're not taking into effect human behavior. They're not taking into account the effect of human psychology and human behavior. This is what it is. Like, these motherfuckers are speed running getting gay marriage banned. That's what they're doing. Do you understand that? Right? The pendulum fucking swings. So if you don't want it to swing so far, then you need to slow the fuck down. Because now there is a good portion of the population that doesn't give a fuck that Trump violated Abrego Garcia's withholding of deportation. Is it a gigantic fucking deal? No, it's really not. Was he an MS-13 gang member? Probably. Should he have been deported? Most definitely. Should he have been deported directly to a jail in El Salvador? I don't know. Probably not. But do you know why people don't give a fuck? Because we see you lying. Because we see what you do. Right? See, what this should be, oh, okay, so we are pro-refugee. Trump admin is pro-refugee. So let's actually advocate for more refugees like these. Right? Let's put out stories of all these people who are just like the Afrikaneers who need help like this. No. It's race baiting. Straight to the race baiting. Why won't the Episcopal Church do this? Because they have committed. Where is it? They've committed to racial justice and reconciliation. And so if we're committed to racial justice and reconciliation, that means if white people in South Africa are disenfranchised from the government and are regularly murdered due to their skin color and are being literally oppressed by their government stealing their land, their farms, and you can't do anything because of racial justice and reconciliation, you are essentially telling everyone that it's because they're white and they have to pay penance for the fact that apartheid existed in South Africa. So all the white people must pay penance for that. And so you can't help these people, even though you're in a position of privilege and power as a, quote, where is it? White religious leader in the region. Is that right? The South African government stridently denied allegations of systemic racial animus. Did they deny systemic racial animus during apartheid? Did they deny the atrocities that they committed? I wonder if they did. As has a coalition. Okay, so excuse me, I misquoted. I'm sorry. This is a completely different people. This is a completely different group of people. So religious, it's other white religious leaders, not these people. Signed a statement rejecting the claims by U.S. President Donald Trump that white people are being victimized in South Africa. Okay. Does that mean it's not happening? You released a statement. Did you provide any evidence disputing the claim? We represent a diverse political, theological perspective. We unanimously reject these claims.
Is because we are being made at as an experience of this place. The narrative presented by the U.S. government is founded on fabrications, distortions, and outright lies. It does not reflect the reality of our country. If anything, it serves to heighten the extension tensions in South Africa. Okay. It also detracts from the important work of building a safer and healthy community. Okay. So... whites only 2% of murder victims. Did they just make a per capita claim as a bullet point? Is that what just happened? So they make up 8% of the population, but 2% of the murder victims. How much of the population is farmers? They have that. That South Africa has failed to effectively address the racial injustices and apartheid of colonialism. But noted one factor is the sustained resistance by many white South African farmers to initiatives, you got to love this language, that seek to meaningfully address the economic and land ownership consequences of these systems and racial oppression. So yes, they must pay for the sins of the past. Then the resulting tensions are now being weaponized for cheap political points in the USA. So I love this, that they're bitching about this, but if we accept these refugees, isn't that fixing their problem? Right? If we allow them to immigrate here as refugees, well, then they could just steal their land. And they don't have to fucking kill them to take it. Or abuse them to do it. They could just take it. I'm being an asshole, I really am. And to be fair, this is something that I do not understand enough. Because the thing about it is like, I have absolutely seen all of these things to be true. The fact that they're being murdered and all this other stuff. The fact that they're reappropriating their land. And they are. And it's because they're white. And if you're using racial injustice from apartheid to do it, then you're just making an excuse that it is actually happening. And you're just saying, no, it's not. We're addressing racial injustices. And you're addressing racial injustices by being racially unjust to a group of people. Gotta love that, right? So, anyway, as far as my ignorance of South Africa goes, it could be true, it could be not. I actually don't know for sure. But one of the reasons I brought all this up, and the reasons I wanted to talk about it, was because of this. And Dev's response. Essentially, the reason I say this is because now, what is the blue team going to do? Are they going to scream about the fact that these white refugees are coming here when all of the stuff that's been going on in our current environment has been basically blue team defending fucking gang members? Because that's what it looks like. That's exactly what it looks like. It doesn't matter that technically they're right about Abrego Garcia not receiving his proper due process, because he didn't. Trump violated that thing. And he is dragging his fucking feet when it concerns the Supreme Court's order to facilitate. But again, it got kicked back to a lower court. There's a lot of bullshit involved. Essentially, is Trump wrong on that? Yes. Trump admin was wrong on that. So now we have refugees coming in through the Trump administration. And now, blue team is left with one thing and one thing only: the race card. Because they literally, like, are they gonna just accept this? Are they gonna pull the power move and accept that, yes, these refugees can come to the United States and that's great, let's get more refugees? Or are they gonna go the race baity route and go racist? Probably race. If I had any inclination of how any of these fucking assholes in the Democrat Party work, it's going to be racist. It's It's hard not to shit on all the minority groups who willingly voted for this. You know, you could just not shit on minority groups, right? No one wanted to hear the truth about the Trump and GOP. They all invented their own fantasy guy, and now they have to deal with reality. Why are you shitting on minority groups? Why would you do that? Why would you consider yourself not a racist and then shit on minority groups? Maybe you don't shit on minority groups. Maybe you, I don't know, shit on the individuals who voted for it. It's almost like you're a racist. Because you can't separate individuals from their fucking groups that they belong to. Yes, and there are actually fucking racists who want more white people and less brown people. That is true. That is absolutely true. Yes, there are people like that. And I disagree with them. I don't want more white people in this country. I want better people in this country. I want the best people in this country. That's what I want. I don't give a fuck where they come from. I've told you stories, I don't know how many times, of my 2 Nigerian math teachers who were some of the best examples of this, and how they both loved their country and their culture, but knew that it was flawed in a very, very, very systematic way, and that there was nothing they're really going to do about it, so that's why they immigrated here. And I don't blame them for seeking prosperity and life elsewhere. I mean, like, America is better because of my math teacher and because of my Calculus 3 teacher. They absolutely are. Just like America is better for my Cal 1 teacher, who was fucking old, frumpy white guy. Right? Just like it's better because I had a math teacher, that my 10th grade math teacher, or that one of my other math teachers was a fucking white woman. Right? Very smart individual. And we benefit as a whole because she became a math teacher. But she was able to teach people like me mathematics. And especially when they show a desire to learn outside of school, where they would take time out of their day. Right? Think about all the things that you want to do when you get off work and all that. They actually stayed late to teach me and other kids more about math that we wanted to learn that wasn't in our curriculum. America is better for that they are here. And so I don't give a fuck what the color of your skin is. And nobody else should either. It doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. It matters who you are and what you do. That's really the point. So if you're brown, but you're all about America, and you love the Constitution and First Amendment, Second Amendment, freedom of religion, all that bullshit, you're fucking down with the clown. Well, then come on over. The circus is open. But if you're a fucking racist shitstick who fucking thinks Islam is going to conquer the world, then you can stay the fuck out of our country. Simple as. You forgot the stream ping? You forgot the stream ping. Did I really? You are absolutely correct. Wow. Tango with the fail. And the funny thing is, I had my freaking... I had it on the checklist that I checked it off because I had it open and I didn't actually do anything. I got distracted because motherfucking... This motherfucking guy... Where is it? Hobby. This motherfucking guy brought this shit out. Not cool, bro. Not cool. Anyway. So, I'm going to have to edit that out. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is that, amazing barrel greetings and salutations. How you doing, buddy? So, again, this is one of these things where I can't not think that there is a reality that exists where this is a 10D chess move, where he is going to have to, where Trump is trying to get, now it could be, now, okay, right. So we're going to go with the hypothetical world that potentially we may live in, right? Where Trump is 10D chessing. Okay. This is the world we're entering. This is a lens we're using to analyze this, in the fact that to make blue team reject refugees based on the color of their skin. That's what I think this is. Now that's a reality that we may exist in. Now, another reality may be that Trump is a racist shitstick and blah, 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 and all the shit they say is true. Fair enough. There's also another reality where it's that he's not 10D chessing and he's not a fucking racist shitstick, or at least in this regard. But what is happening is that somebody's administration watches too much. Fucking what's her name? Lauren Southern, and all of the investigative shit that she did, and so that's why they're doing this. Now it could be somebody in his admin who's doing this, thinking, "Oh, now we're gonna get Democrats to say refugees aren't welcome here." That's what we're gonna do. It could be somebody in his admin doing that, and I think it is the maximum credit verse. I think it's very likely that this might be one of the reasons they're doing this. Do I think that they should allow white South Africans to come here as refugees if they qualify? If they qualify in the same way that everybody else has to qualify, then yes, of course. Why would we not? The same way that if you're, running from fucking Islamic jihad in some other fucking country where they're going to murder you because you're fucking gay or an atheist or something, sure, you should be able to apply here for asylum and potentially get it. And I just watching son of a bitch, I got it running. Nice. Oh, what, the game? Did you have to like fire up the holodeck and build a computer that came out in the 1980s to play it on? Attaching like, Borg augments and stuff. But yeah, it really does. It might have been easier. Yeah, it really does. It really does feel like that's the play here. That's the play here. And it is really funny for them to call all of these motherfuckers racist when this motherfucker just got done doing a glaze fest. There no audio? Motherfucker just got through doing a glaze fest in Saudi Arabia, where he did this speech, and it was absolutely insane. Let me see if I can actually pull it up. There's just parts I wanna show you. Let me see. Excuse me one second. Okay, there we go. Sorry about this. Thought I had it pulled up. I did not. Here we go. On Fox, of all fucking things. Oh, it doesn't have the thing. Why are you lying? Why are you lying? They're lying.
Thank you.
Oh, shut up. Is this it? Yes, this is it. Okay. So this is the scene. This stadium, whatever the fuck this is full. You can see the garb they're wearing. It's full of people from Saudi Arabia. The elites of their country or whatever, and several diplomats from all over the place, right? Yes, God Bless America is playing. The freaking Saudi prince, I believe, is the one who set all this up, and so he picked the music, I'm pretty sure. And so when I say it's a fucking glaze fest, I want you to understand just how much these two motherfuckers glazed each other during this. Like, look at this. Look at this. And they stand, and he stands there, and they listen. The entire fucking song. In Saudi Arabia.
What a great place.
Fuck. My bad. And they politely clap. How cool is that?
Well,
right?
Thank you very much.
Right? And so he goes on to like glaze this motherfucker, the crown prince, like over and over and over again, which is pretty funny. The same guy that gave him a Boeing jet. Let me see. Okay, is it here? There's
Very much. Thank you.
And they start playing the YMCA at the end. Like I said, and they didn't even show the rest of it because it was hilarious. Because oh my goodness, and it's basically a lot of bullshit. They're trying to essentially, I do believe that Trump is trying to get all of the countries in the Middle East on side. What was I gonna do? Basically, that what's the main thing that's going on there? My son's awake. I'm gonna have to smooth out some jank. Kind of what Saudi Arabia is doing. Yeah. So basically, he gives this speech, and obviously he takes shot at Joe Biden. He does all the normal Trump things. If you had the like bingo card, the shot bingo card, you'd be drunk as fuck after you did this, because he brought up Biden and how fucking dumb he was. He brought up the last administration and how fucking bad they were. He basically jerked himself off for about 10 minutes in between, you know, praising the Saudi prince. But essentially, he also said Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. And I think this is what's going on here, is that there's this big play where it feels like Trump is essentially cutting Israel out. And it looks like, from what I can tell, it's because Trump was, Benjamin Netanyahu disrespected Trump or some dumb shit like that, right? So could you imagine, and the reason I say that is because of this post right here. A Gulf diplomatic source stated that President Trump will issue a declaration regarding the American recognition of Palestine. This comes amid a strain of relations between Trump and Netanyahu due to the Israeli prime minister attempts to sabotage American nuclear negotiations with Iran. So, and we've already, he said they're also going to lift sanctions on Syria, right? So that they can prosper now that the Assad regime is not in charge anymore. Even though many people claim that the people still running the government are Assad-like or whatever. He made a lot of claims about, and the stuff he said about about America's involvement in nation building was just fucking epic. See if I can find a clip of it. Is there a clip where he's talking about the nation building? I can't find it outright. Anyway, doesn't matter. The fact is that he basically shat all over the people who were talking about how we can go into the Middle East, bomb the fuck out of them, and then turn them into working democracies. And he glazed the shit out of Saudi Arabia for being prosperous and all this other bullshit by sticking to tradition, which obviously is a little bit of a bullshit because Saudi Arabia is actually a Western creation. And this is partially true because we did back all of these motherfuckers, and they did not act like all the other kingdoms in the area. They stood with us, right? And though they're not westernized in our sense and modernized in our sense, I think Trump is both right and wrong in saying that, because they didn't turn into the West, as you can obviously see by the pictures. They didn't, but yeah. So bombing democracy into the Middle East was indeed confused and naive endeavor. Absolutely, and that's the thing that Trump talked about. Oh, here's the clip.
And it's crucial for the wider world to note this great transformation has not come from Western interventionists or flying people in beautiful planes giving you lectures on how to live and how to govern your own affairs. No, the gleaming marvels of Riyadh and Abu Dhabi were not created by the so-called nation builders, neocons, or liberal nonprofits like those who spent trillions and trillions of dollars failing to develop Kabul, Baghdad, so many other cities. Instead, the birth of a modern Middle East has been brought by the people of the region themselves, the people that are right here, the people that have lived here all their lives, developing your own sovereign countries, pursuing your own unique visions and charting your own destinies in your own way. It's really incredible what you've done. In the end, the so-called nation builders wrecked far more nations than they built, and the interventionists were intervening in complex societies that they did not even understand themselves. They told you how to do it, but they had no idea how to do it themselves. Peace, prosperity, and progress ultimately came not from a radical rejection of your heritage, but rather from embracing your national traditions and embracing that same heritage that you love so dearly.
Fuck me, I'm muted. Oh my god. That's funny. Okay, so anyway. I'd love to know what the translators were ordered to say. That's a good point. That's a very good point. But I think he could speak English. So what I was getting at is that
your own destinies, and it's really incredible what you've and the so-called nation builders wrecked far more nations than they built, and the interventionists.
Yes, this is true. And what I said earlier was that the reason that this is true, or not the reason that it's true. It's one of the reasons why so many in the United States of America have PTSD over foreign intervention is because of the stupid shit with the nation building and all that other stuff. And that George Bush Jr. originally ran on not being the world police. The United States of America should not be the world police, blah, 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 blah. This is what he ran on, and then he ends up fucking invading Iraq, of all things. And becoming even more the world police. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Working with Pakistan, of all places, to be the world police. And so my question was, at the very end, if the price of peace, is Trump wrong about them embracing their tradition and that's how they got to prosperity? Technically, yes, because they didn't. What they did was they made diplomatic ties with the West and then used that stability to prosper. They did it in very interesting ways, true, but if they were truly prosperous in that way, then they would have been so before the United States the West started intervening in the area. And not only that, they would have skyrocketed as much, if not more, than other countries in Europe or the United States for it. And in some ways they kind of have in many areas, but not in the same way. Like in Qatar, like isn't it like 80% of the population is foreign born and they're like all workers and potentially slaves? But here's the thing. If the price of peace was for Trump to be technically wrong and to glaze this motherfucker, is that worth the price of peace? Because that's really what it boils down to, doesn't it? Because it's just like with any conflict. You can continue the war, you continue the conflict as much as you want. Minor nerd stuff in sci-fi. Prefix hollow is often misused. Hollow means entire or whole. Thus, a hologram is a projection of the entire object in 3D space, but an object capable of producing a hologram is not necessarily a hollow version of that object. One familiar instance is the prefix is the Holocaust, which refers to where cost means sacrifice. Oh, okay, I see. I imagine it was just, well, I mean, You say it's misused, but we're talking like 400 years in the future, right? Is it actually being misused, or did it change meaning because they're 400 years in the future? Do you know what English speakers sounded like 400 years ago? Just throwing that out there. Is it really misused? Or is it a 10D chess technique to make you an ultra nerd? That's the real question. Now, obviously you're right. And they used it as some kind of technobabble nonsense to sound like all futuristic and shit, right? Like, for instance, a hologram isn't a whole of anything, is it? It's just, especially in the holodeck, it's just a thing of light. Anyway, so this is, I'm really just nerd stuff. Yeah. It's, hey man, if we're talking about like light physics, that's pretty cool. Specifically when that involves semantics, man, it's like peak nerd. No, it's the semantics of describing light. There you go. Stephen Lurch, greetings and salutations, my friend. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that, buddy. All right, so what the fuck do I hope this leads to? Well, for the most part, what it looks like is that we might actually see some crazy shit happen between the U.S., Israel, and Saudi Arabia and the other countries in the area due to a fucking tiff between Netanyahu and Donald Trump. I'm going to flip my fucking lid if he recognizes Palestine as a state. You know what else is funny though? Would Palestine as a state exist if Israel had lost the war? Or do you think it would be divided up between Jordan and the other countries that are around it? Aha. I see. Well, that's good for you. But definitely keep that shit to yourself. Or get banned. And thanks for putting that on my screen, you fucking jackass. I wonder what it's like to be a shithead on the internet when you have nothing better to do than come into random streams, especially for small streamers, and just put shit like that on their fucking screen. Just because you want to be a dickbag. I mean, I was 10 once, so sure. Anyway, yeah, I do hope. I'm gonna flip my lid if he does. If he fucking recognizes Palestine as a state. I don't think he is. I don't really think that's gonna happen. I think this is what this is to put pressure on other people like Israel potentially to be like, you know, with all the shit that he just did in Saudi Arabia, plus this announcement or plus this report. And then how the Netanyahu has said, I think we will have to detox from United States security assistance. And because of this, what we might see is a split between America and Israel to the point where we're just not going to be involved in their bullshit anymore when it comes to Gaza. Or we may take more of a back seat and just let the fucking chips fall where they may, right? And circumvent the rest of these motherfuckers. Because he did say, circumvent those motherfuckers using the rest of the Arab states as a backbone to that. Now, whether those Arab states are actually going to keep their word, I don't know. We'll just have to see. In the furry places, it happens a lot with poop heads coming in. Yeah, it does. Anyway, just very disappointing. But that's the internet for you. So, I really hope something comes of this. But the real issue is that there is a lot of criticism for Saudi Arabia. You know, they're not as quote unquote progressive as we'd probably like. Even the more conservative individuals in the United States would balk at how they do things in some instances, I'm sure. But I can't fault the leaders of these countries for trying to modernize and trying to bring their countries into the 21st century. Hopefully, that modernization will lead to them abandoning more barbaric practices. I mean, it didn't for us. We still do abortion, right? So, but maybe we could not do the indentured servitude / slavery thing. That'd be cool, right? We could get rid of that. Maybe just maybe we could make a more egalitarian society where the women who do want to be able to compete against men in intellectual and physical ways can do so without too much cultural pushback. That'd be good. Just like it's like, I don't agree with radical feminism, but I do agree that a society is better when everyone in the society has the ability to not achieve has the ability to access how do I want to say this? For some reason I'm blanking. That everyone in the civilization, everyone in our civilization should have the ability to access education and power. That's as simple as I can explain it, but it's still not right. The freedom to seek fulfilling pursuit, that's close, but it's more like, it's not just that your society is better as in moral, it's better pragmatically. Because think about it like this. When it comes to like nations and populations, it's all a numbers game. So the more people you have, the more likely you are to get geniuses, and the more likely you are to have geniuses in science and things like that, right? So you need more people. It's like the larger population you have, the more geniuses you have. The larger population you have, the more people who want to pursue science. So those two things will overlap. And when you have geniuses in science, amazing things happen. When you have geniuses in a lot of places, amazing things happen, right? Engineering, commerce, you name it, geniuses. Guess what? Men are not the only geniuses. Right? Women can be geniuses too. Women can absolutely be the fucking crazed bitch who becomes the fucking CEO in a male-dominated hierarchy and bitch slaps everybody around her using cunning, guile, and sex as a weapon. Like, obviously, this is a trope for a reason, because these women exist and they are fucking awesome. Like, fucking Xena the Warrior Princess is the prime example of a woman who did such a thing. Now, obviously, it's a fictitious thing, of course, but when she appeared in Hercules, the original Hercules with Kevin Sorbo, the way she was the leader of a mercenary band who used cunning, guile, and sex as a weapon to achieve her position of power, and every man around her bent to her will, and she almost never emasculated them for it. Because she understood men. If she acted enough like a man who had giant boobs and could use sex, they would just be like, whatever, it doesn't matter. And it worked. It really worked until later but we don't need to get into that. The point is that there are women who have the ability to do these things, and there are women who are geniuses. And so you want as many people in your population as possible to be able to pursue things that will make your civilization better. Pursuing science, pursuing any kind of like STEM kind of field is absolutely going to make our civilization better, just on a pragmatic technological level, right? Even if you then throw in other things like social science and in the advancements in culture and things like that, you can layer that on. But just in a pure pragmatic sense, you're going to get more prosperity, more money in your entire population if you can actuate more people into your economy. So if you cut half of your population out of the economy, i.e. you don't allow women to hold anything other than like meaningless work that's like childcare or sewing or, just stuff like that, low level stuff, and you never allow them to achieve science or upper echelons of any kind of corporate thing, then what you're doing is you're basically taking half your population and you're cutting yourself off the knees. Because how many, is it going to be, are there going to be less CEOs than men? Yes. Are there going to be less women geniuses than men? Yes. That's what a bell curve is. Are there going to be less women who want to be that fucking power mad motherfucker who wants to dominate everything and fucking take us to new heights of awesomeness? Yes. There are going to be less of them. But there still are going to be women who are going to be able to do that. And you want them to be able to do those things in your society because it will make your society better. It's as simple as that. We should be encouraging women to procreate and have children because one, it's fulfilling for the individual. Two, it usually comes with a partner, which is also fulfilling to the individual and tends to make your life better if you choose properly. And three, it's good for society. Just like, you know, men being self-sacrificial is good for society because we need a military that fucking works, and we need men that can kill people, and men that are strong and can kill people and will sacrifice themselves for the greater good are what society needs. That makes society a better place. And I 100% agree with that. I am meat for the grinder. Of course I am. I'm a man. Okay. Okay. But it shows up on the screen. Did you know that? I don't understand. What's going on? Anyway, I need to take a break. And we'll be right back after these messages. I think we might get into some... Yep. We might get into some video games, but we're probably going to talk about that. So I'll be right back. Stand by to stand by.
Stand before the righteous.
Die, scum! Yeah.
Die, scum!
Wavelength, baby. We got that wave. Game. We've been spotted. No kills. I didn't see any of the damage, in fact.
For me to carry. Impressed yet?
Come on, Tango, you got this. Come on, all I gotta do is get stunned. Oh, let's go, bitches. There it is, baby, yeah! Why you drop garbage, dude? Oh, look, another. Oh my God. Come here, bitch. Watch out! Oh, shotty to the face! That's it, boys! Up just a wee bit. Nada. 2 towers. 2 freaking towers. Look at that shit. This game is so freaking cheating.
Fear our wrath.
Like, what kind of bullshit is that, man? 2 of them.
Move.
Right next to one another. Oh no, you shall not pass. That's right, you heard me, you heard me. Did I stutter? Did I stutter? No, no, you shall not pass.
My knowledge is at your disposal.
Shall not. Unfair.
That's it. That's it. Take it, bitch. Take it. Oh, she's stabbing Elena in the gut. Like, woo. Alrighty, boys. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to call it a night because my son, well, he needs me this morning. So he is extra. So thank you for being here. I very much appreciate it. Longwood, Amazing Barrel, thank you for being here. And Stephen Lurch, learn how to, I don't know, moderate yourself, bro. On that note, my friends, it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, bros. Peace out.